오늘은 귀찮으니까 일단 두 문제만. One feature of progress and separation from nature is the growing incidence of physical inactivity. Hunter-gatherers and farmers expend energy to catch and grow their food. The rest of us rely on cars and are gradually losing the ability to walk. Okay. Are losing 맞고. Physical inactivity. 어머. 제목이랑 문맥상 낱말. We are gradually losing the ability to walk. Physical inactivity and junk food is killing us and our kids. It also increases the chance of accidental or designed connection with nature. It also decreases. We know that the natural environment positively affects our mental state. Is it any surprise to learn that mental ill health is on the increase just as environments and biodiversity come under serious threat, just as we seem to stop going there? The World Health Organization predicts that depression and mental ill health will be the greatest source of ill health worldwide by 2020. Yet green places are good places, from the small patches in cities to the wide open wildernesses, and there are many ways to engage in green exercises, from gardening to forest schools to country walks. All these are good for health, but for many adults are no more than temporary remedial measures as we dash back to the rat race. Maybe it is too late for some of us. We have forgotten and will never reconnect enough. The real challenge is to get today's young children, connect them with nature and its mysteries early, and prevent the extinction of ecological literacy that will dog us to our graves. Natural resources under pressure. 자연 자원에 대한 건 아니고 making urbanization more sustainable. 이것도 좀 동떨어진 것 같은데 도시화를 좀 더 지속 가능하게. Time to get back in touch with nature. 이걸 것 같아요. The economics of eco-friendly city development. 도시 개발에 관한 거 아니고 the scientific benefits of spending time in nature. 이걸로 하려면 굉장히 scientific한 benefits이 구체적으로 나왔어야지. 이거. 그리고 적절하지 않은 것 B. The number of times something happens, especially something bad. The number of times something happens. Number of times something happens, especially something incidents. The growing incidence라고 했으니까 growing incidence에서 incidences가 아니라는 것에 한번 주목해보자. 이건 복수형이 없나 봐. To spend or to consume by using. To spend or consume by using. And junk is increased as environments and biodiversity come under serious threat just as we seem to stop going there. The World Health Organization predicts that depression and mental ill health will be the greatest source of ill health worldwide by 2020. Yet, green places are good places, from the small patches in cities to the wide open wildernesses, and there are many ways to engage. Intended to engage in입니다. 자, intended to correct or improve something. We dash back to the rat race. We'll never reconnect enough. The real challenge is to get to connect with them with nature and mysteries early. Will dog us to our graves. War, intended to correct or improve something. Remedial. 어법상 틀린 거. At the heart of learning is good. Old-fashioned trial and error. In many areas of learning, including baseball, writing, and math, we think our way toward understanding and competence. Once we have the glimmerings of an idea about how to proceed, we give it a go. Observe the effects and the success, adjust our action, and have another go. We can rarely figure everything out in advance so well that our first attempt is a surefire success. Watching an engineer sketching a bridge, an athlete adjusting her run up. 나쁘지 않네. A teacher or an executive polishing their PowerPoint presentations, a child learning to dive, a cook tinkering with a recipe, and you will see the power of this kind of rehearsing, practicing, and drafting. Sometimes we know what we want to achieve. What we want to achieve. What we want to achieve. And our experiments are refined as we approach the goal. And sometimes you are just playing with material as artists do, ideas or bodily movements to see what happens. We are just playing with it to see what happens. What we want to achieve. Watching. What we want to achieve 이거 괜찮아. 이것도 괜찮아. 여기서 and you will see the power of this kind. watching 이걸 하려면 뭐 by watching이라고 하거나 아니면 이제 just watch라고 명령어로 쓰거나 했어야 될 것 같아. To begin a course of action. To begin a course of action. Proceed. To begin. Proceed. The ability to do something successfully or efficiently. The ability to. Capability. Achieve, experience, refine as we approach the goal. Material, body movements. What? Including old-fashioned and trial or error. An error, including blah blah blah, way toward understanding and competence. Understanding and competence. We think our way toward understanding and competence. To improve a piece of writing, a speech, etc. by making slight changes to it. Polish. 반짝거리게 하다. Living butterflies hold their wings in positions that differ from those of mounted museum specimens. For example, an obvious difference is that live grasskeepers spread their hind wings flat, but open their forewings only partially, appearing very different from completely flat-spread museum specimens. A less often noted difference is that when landed with their wings closed, living skippers fold under the trailing edge of their hind wings, hiding about 1/5 of the wings. Thus, the shape of the hind wings, especially the length versus the width, may appear very different in the field than on museum specimens. Most animals which have a metallic sheen, including some birds and butterflies, owe their unusual brilliance to structural factors rather than chemical colors. 이건 이상하네. In addition, relatively fresh individuals often have distinctive sheens that are useful for identification. These sheens are lost upon aging and after death, as are some markings on the butterfly's body and especially its eye color. 뭐야 이거? Most animals which have a metallic sheen, 그 금속 광택을 가진 애니멀들은 including some birds and butterflies owe their unusual brilliance to structural factors rather than chemical colors. In addition, relatively fresh individuals often have distinctive genes that are useful for identification. These genes are lost upon aging after death, as are some markings on the butterfly's body and especially its eye color. 뭐 박물관에 있는 거랑 좀 다르다. 그리고 이런 금속 광택을 가진 애들은 그들의 unusual brilliance가 사실은 이런 과학적인 색깔이 아니라 structural factor에 의한 것이다. And relatively fresh individuals often have distinctive genes that are useful for identifications. Relatively fresh individuals often have distinctive genes that are useful for identification. These genes are lost upon aging after death, as are some markings on the butterfly's body and especially its eye color. 5번을 이상한 걸로 그럼 가져갈래. 자, fixed firmly to a larger thing, mounted. Easy to see, recognize, or understand. Obvious. And comparison with other similar things or with what you expect. Rather. 설마 진짜 rather? Relatively? 상대적으로? Or with? 이렇게 해보지 뭐. 5, 6, 7, 8 이렇게 정답. 아이씨, 이쪽 exercise 5 3번 2번 3번 2번 incidents, expand, remedial. 이거 뭐야? expand, remedial. 오케이. 7 정답 3번. 그리고 단어는 proceed, competence, polish. 그리고 8번은 답이 4번. 4번 정답은 mounted, obvious, relatively. 생기 넘치는 개체는 쓸모있는. 특히 너비와 대립. 그치? 새와 나비를 포함해서 생기 넘치는 개체는 지금 독특한 윤기를 갖고 있지만 이거 사실 저 하보는 둘 다 좀 이상한 것 같은데. 이해할 수 없어. 이해할 수 없어. 그래, 이해할 수 없는 걸로 끝.